Today we're in section 8.3. We're learning about slope today. When we're talking about the slope of a line, I just want to go back to some previous lessons real quick and show you a little more of what we're looking at. You guys remember when we were graphing functions? Remember the input-output tables? Remember these, like on number 6? Number 6 and 8, you guys remember the input-output tables? Okay, and what do we do with those? We took the ordered pairs and we graphed them, okay? So we come over here to the graphs. Well, you learned how to graph it. Now we're looking specifically at the line itself and the slope of that line. Well, you can clearly see from left to right that both of these lines are trending in which direction? They're going up, all right? So that means that we have a positive slope. So today, in today's lesson, we're specifically looking at how the slope is trending. Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it zero? Is it undefined? And I also want to point out how it matches to your function. If your slope is positive, if the line is trending up, then the coefficient attached to the x, the coefficient meaning the number that's attached to the x, will also be positive. That's where the slope is written in a function. This is my slope, 1/3. Notice that it's positive, and my line is also trending up and to the right, okay? So, what are we looking at today? We're looking at how the line trends, how the slope trends. We've graphed them. Now we're looking specifically at the line. And guys, we can use slope to actually graph these lines without having a whole lot of other information. All right, so now let's go back to the lesson and let's talk for a minute about the slope again. So I just want you to just draw these, these 4 coordinate planes, just real small on your regular paper, not on your graph paper, on your regular paper. And we're going to identify, all right, these 4 types of slopes. All right, so go ahead and draw them and then draw the slopes that you see that I've just drawn on each one. So again, sloping up and to the right, this is a positive slope. Sloping down and to the right, this is a negative slope. When it's horizontal, it means my slope is 0. When it's vertical, it means my slope is undefined. Okay? Positive, negative, slope of 0, and undefined. You need to be able to recognize these on your homework. Tomorrow you're going to have some of this where you're just recognizing, you're looking at it and saying, yeah, positive, negative, undefined, or 0. Okay? Questions? All right, so now let's kind of get into the heart of today's lesson, and that's actually finding slope. Slope equals rise over run. You need to write this in your notes on your notebook paper. Slope equals rise over run. Slope equals rise over run. And rise is going to be your change in, what do you think? Rise. You're changing your y value or you're changing your x value? Think about rise. Rise is up and down, so it's going to be your change in your y values over your change in your x values. Okay, between 2 points. So rise over run, the change in y over the change in x. All right, so I have this line right here, okay? I have this line and it says, find the slope of the line. Well, I'm going to use my formula that I just told you, rise over run. And I'm going to use, for slope, I'm going to use the variable m. M stands for slope, equals rise over run. And I'm going to look at the change in my y value from my first point to my second point. Now, we already said we read these graphs left to right. So this is our first point, right here. This is our first point. So I'm going to count. Literally, I'm going to count the blocks. This is why it's so important that you label your blocks correctly, because if you don't, your slope will be wrong. Okay? You count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I went up 7 to get from point A up to point B. I went up 7, and how many did I go over? I went over 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I went up 7, and I went over 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right. My point is plotted, and no, you don't have to write this one. Okay, and that's how I know my slope. Okay, 7 over 4. Now you're going to do one. All right, but you don't have to write this. All you're doing is reading the line, okay, and then you're going to write down what you think the slope is. Okay, so now find the slope of this line. Okay, so slope is, again, rise over run. So what's your change in your y between the 2 points, and what's your change in the x? Okay, so from point A to point B, how many am I going down on my y value?
3.
1, 2, 3. How many am I going across on my x value? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my rise over my run, okay, rise over run again, is going to be 3 over 6. But wait, which way am I going? Up or down? I'm going down. It's a -3 because I went down 3. My rise was down. It's a -3 over 6, which reduces to -1/2. Okay, anytime you can reduce these, do it. Do not change them to a mixed number, though. Leave them improper, but reduce them when you can. All right, so now let's take a different angle. Okay, so now I have another numbered graph. All right, let's do one more. Okay, I want you to find the slope of this graph. Okay, so third time, hopefully more people will get it. I want you to find the slope of this line. So how many did I go down this time? 2. And how many did I go across?
5.
Who got -2/5? Raise your hand. -2/5? Okay. Loza, did you get it? Mackenzie? No? Because look at the line. Because it's going down. All right, so it's negative. And remember, from point A to point B, it went down by 2. All right, down 2 over 5, -2/5. What if I had one like this? And it said that I have a slope of -2, and it passes through point -4, 4. And it says, draw the line. Okay, so a slope of -2, and it passes through point -4, 4. All right, so now you're on your first graph of the 3 that we're going to do. I want you to plot the point at the ordered pair that it gives us, -4, 4. Go ahead and plot the point at -4, 4. Okay, did you plot it? You got it? Now we're going to use our slope, -2. But if it's a whole number, what can I put it over to make it a fraction? 1, because I've got to have a rise and a run, okay? So -2 is my rise and 1 is my run. So now from this point, -4 up 4, from this point, I'm going to follow my slope. And I'm going to go down 2 over 1 and draw my line through it. So we use our slope, guys, to go from that point, and we went down to 1, 2, over 1, and we plot our point and draw our line. And that's how we draw the line when it only gives us one ordered pair and the slope. All right, so now I want you to do one where your slope is 3/4 and it passes through point -2, -1. Slope is 3/4, and it passes through point -2, -1. Okay, so -2, -1, whoops. All right, so I go over 2, down 1. All right, now from this point, I'm going to use my slope, 3/4. So what is my rise from that point? 3. My rise is 3. Do I go up 3 or down 3 from that point? How do you know up 3? Because 3 is positive. So I go up 3. And guys, you can do the little dash marks. I just want you to erase them before you're done with your answer. 1, 2, 3. And how many do I go over? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I plot my point. Good. And I draw my line through it. All right, and then just kind of go back and, erase those little red marks. Okay, and there we go. We graphed our line. So we're going to look at one more setup, if you will. Now in this one, it gives us 2 ordered pairs. And it says, draw a graph of the line that passes through those 2 points and then tell me what the slope is. So you're going to plot those 2 points, draw your line, and then count your rise over run. Go ahead and try that. So over 7, up 2, left 1, down 2, draw your line. Does your graph look like that? Okay, so now you're going to count. How many did you rise?
4.
You rose 4. How many did you run?
8.
8. And then you reduce to 1/2, and you're done. Anybody get 1/2? 4 over 8. So you're good now. You got it. Kind of clicked on that last one. Mackenzie, still lost, or did you get it? You got it. Good. Good. Blake, did you get it? Good. Malcolm, yes. Okay. So tomorrow's lesson, guys, we're just repeating all of this. Okay. We're going to add one more thing in the mix, but this is everything you need to know for your graph or for your homework tonight. Okay, you can do the homework that's due on Wednesday with this information. So nobody gets a 0, right? You have 2 days to get it done. Nobody gets a 0. That's everything you need to know for 8.3.